if I owned Bitcoin because I thought Trump was going to tweet something, I'd be poor. I mean, right? Like, Bitcoin is apolitical in that sense. It's been successful no matter who's been in office, no matter what anyone said about it. So to be clear, that's obviously not true. But what I think is the really overwhelming, powerful movement is that Bitcoin doesn't need you. You need Bitcoin. That's at the individual level, the family level, corporate level, the country level. It's the same message I gave El Salvador. Was, listen, guys, you're not going to be the main character of this thing, and that's the point. Imagine how big something can become if it's a part of all of us and not you. And kill your ego and just be a part of it. Contribute nobly to it. And that is the journey every Bitcoiner goes through. And I think it's a beautiful journey that will be misunderstood until it's over.
Jack Mallers is unashamed about the state of money in the future. He states boldly from the beginning that we are living through a financial revolution rather than a market correction. Bitcoin is at the heart of a fundamental challenge to the monetary system that has reigned for decades. According to Mallers, the conventional banking system is antiquated, brittle, and ready for upheaval. According to him, Bitcoin is an excellent monetary network for a digital, global economy rather than only a hedge or speculative asset. For further updates on Bitcoin and the wider world of digital assets, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications before we go any further. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
Answer your question, is there enough Bitcoin for everyone? Well, no, right? That's the point, is that for everything else in life, with more demand, there's more supply. With Bitcoin, you can't make any more, so then more supply comes from within the market. It comes from get a higher price. Oh, you want more Bitcoin? Well, you got to go get it at $200,000 per Bitcoin. There's none left at $110,000 per Bitcoin. And so that's what's fascinating. And, I think for us, we agree with their thesis, their playbook, and what they've pioneered. On top of that, we think that there's a really interesting story unraveling in macroeconomics right now. There's monetary regime change. This is a bipartisan effort in the United States to really question, in my opinion, how valuable the world reserve currency as the dollar is to us. Some of the cons and the burdens that implies on the country, our inability to manufacture stuff. We're hollowing out the middle class, the wealth gap it's creating. There's artificial strength in the dollar. There's artificial strength in dollar assets, like American exceptionalism. There's a good argument to be made that that's been funded by the trade surplus of foreign countries. And so the fact that the fixed income market, the equities market, capital is rotating and trying to find real returns. Capital is rotating and trying to find a strong balance sheet. Companies trading at 50 times earnings, those days might be behind us soon. It's a misunderstood narrative to think that Bitcoin is for, the right or the red or Republicans. It's Bitcoin. If I owned Bitcoin because I thought Trump was going to tweet something, I'd be poor. I mean, right? Bitcoin is apolitical in that sense. It's been successful no matter who's been in office, no matter what anyone said about it. So to be clear, that's obviously not true. But what I think is the really overwhelming, powerful movement is that Bitcoin doesn't need you. You need Bitcoin. That's at the individual level, the family level, corporate level, the country level. It's the same message I gave El Salvador. Was, listen, guys, you're not going to be the main character of this thing, and that's the point. Imagine how big something can become if it's a part of all of us and not you. And kill your ego and just be a part of it. Contribute nobly to it. And that is the journey every Bitcoiner goes through. And so I think Donald Trump was interested in Bitcoin, not because Bitcoin needed Donald Trump, because Donald Trump needed Bitcoin. He needed to win an election, right? He needs to find neutral reserve assets that he can start to accumulate in the face of a weakening dollar as he reorders capital flows globally. And so I see it as the natural journey that we all go through, which is, I'm smarter than this thing. I mean, how many people have you met that, oh yeah, Bitcoin, no, I already figured it out, it's going to zero, right? And then you realize, I'm not smarter than it, I'm not bigger than it, I'm one with it. I just need to be a part of it. And I've watched my childhood friends go through that, I've gone through that, and now I'm watching the United States of America go through that. And I think it's a beautiful journey that will be misunderstood until it's over. Bitcoin is open source software. It is neutral money. That is a lot of the appeal. And so it is there for anyone to buy it. I find it hypocritical for a Bitcoiner to say, I don't like that Larry Fink can buy it. Kick him out. Well, who elected you, Mr. Mayor of Bitcoin? That's not how it works on purpose. And so Bitcoin's for all. Listen, $900 trillion roundabout is the worth of stuff that humans own. Equities, currencies, sovereign debt, real estate, art, metals, collectibles, 900 trillion. About half of that we've monetized. So you own the art, not to put it on your wall and consume so that your toddler can throw spaghetti on it and ruin your fancy Van Gogh piece, but you're owning it because you're trying to store value. You own the real estate, not because you're living in it, because you're trying to store value. You own the index of portfolio stocks, not because you believe in leadership, you understand the products, you believe in earnings per share growth, but because you're trying to store value. So that's about $400 to $500 trillion of savings that humanity, there's a problem there. This capital is leaking. It's looking for a new home. And so the way we view ourselves is offering a transition into what we believe is the answer, which is Bitcoin, and giving fixed income, giving the equities market's worth $150 trillion. By the way, in Apple and Amazon, these companies are worth 1, 2, 3, 4 trillion. $150 trillion globally. There's a big appetite for a new home through this regime change. And so I think we're solving a noble problem for lots of people.
For Jack Mallers, the essence of Bitcoin lies in individual accountability. He thinks it's up to you to decide your financial and physical well-being, not politicians. He claims that Bitcoin offers you the ability to take charge. It enables you to take control of your finances, handle your own money, and abandon outdated systems. Furthermore, using centralized systems is still an option if you so choose. True financial freedom looks like that. Mallers concludes by outlining his company's audacious plan, a platform exclusively focused on Bitcoin that was co-founded with Tether and supported by significant firms. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications for future Bitcoin, macroeconomic, and digital asset content before we go any further. Now, let's get into his powerful predictions.
Listen, Bitcoin enables you to self-sovereignly use it in a way that trusts nobody. If you want that, I fundamentally believe that in order for society to restore any sense of harmony, it rests on the idea of personal responsibility. You are not overweight or poor or sad or depressed because of who's in office or because who's your mayor. You have to own the outcomes of your life. I fundamentally believe that. Bitcoin empowers you to do that. If you want to use it in a way that just relies on you, you can. But I don't think Bitcoin disrupts corporations. I think society will be filled with businesses that sell you a service that you value and you're willing to pay for. And so it's a truly free market. You don't have to buy my stock or use my products if you don't want to, but if you find them valuable, you're more than welcome to. And that's the society that I want to live in, is a restoration of personal responsibility. And so for me, Bitcoin restores that in a very meaningful way. And if you aren't interested in what I'm selling, I'll be the first to say, don't use it. We try and be that company that's different than some of the bigger corporations that are really focused on serving Bitcoiners. For 21, I've said publicly, we intend to provide proven reserves. We are Bitcoiners. Paulo and I have held lots of Bitcoin ourselves over the years, right? And so again, we want to do Bitcoin the right way in our financial services, in our businesses, in our public filings, in the capital markets. We think that there's an opportunity to meet the market with the correct trade-offs and offer something appealing that, some people won't like, but we think a lot of people will.
How much does that tie into the general ethos of Bitcoin?
Well, for us, actually, Bitcoin is the most pristine form of collateral we could ever allow a loan against. We view ourselves as not having any risk as a company. The loan's LTV is 50%, meaning for those at home, we let you take half of your Bitcoin's worth out in cash. So for us, it's over-collateralized loan. There's no rehypothecation, it doesn't move, it's not reinvested, and we're looking forward to just showing you where it is just sitting on the blockchain. And so for us, there's no risk there. Now, there's obviously risk for the customer, right? You are taking out a loan, you owe us money, and that's leverage in your life. And we think of debt like fire. It can heat a home, it could change a village. If you use too much of it, it'll burn your house down. And so you gotta be careful. And so I believe in free markets. I really don't think that a new asset class that is the most pristine form of collateral, the best performing thing you can own that we all have access to, that we shouldn't be robbed of the ability. This is how the VOC built the biggest trade empire. They borrowed against their ships and their land. This is how US railroads were built. They issued collateralized bonds. This is how Manhattan was built. No one bought Manhattan land and real estate and then sold it when they had a medical emergency or when their kid wanted to go to college or when they wanted to put a down payment on a house or when they wanted to build a new business, a bar on their land. They borrowed against it. Tesla just put a restriction on how much Elon can borrow against his stock because he doesn't want to own dollars. He wants the most scarce, desirable good. So this market shouldn't be robbed of that opportunity just because some people will misuse the product. So we've gone to great lengths, even doing interviews like this and telling customers, be careful, there are risks. we have to issue things like margin calls to be responsible in offering this product. But where our focus is enabling those that are responsible and where this can change their life. And I think that's the free market attitude that I'm willing to go to bed with at night and feel good. We're already, upon approval, we intend to be the third largest Bitcoin treasury in the world. We already own or intend to, at closing, over 42,000 coins. And so this is part of that big enough to win, small enough to grow. We feel like we can carry an institutional appetite because of myself, Tether, SoftBank, the size of our balance sheet, the size of our partners, access to the capital markets. And then where we feel like we're different is, again, we're technologists that have built very successful products in Bitcoin. We've said in our public filing, we're very interested in the lending market, in the credit market. We think that if we own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% of the Bitcoin network and have access to the capital markets, there's a lot of utility that we can build in the form of software that's going to change the world on top of just the balance sheet. And we feel uniquely capable within the Treasury Company C of large swaths of capital, big balance sheet, big partners, and proven technologists that have executed at a tremendously high level.
Jack Mallers discussed his thoughts on Bitcoin's place in contemporary finance and how it is transforming our understanding of loans and collateral. According to Mallers, the purest form of collateral that could possibly be utilized for a loan is Bitcoin. Bitcoin provides a solid, over-collateralized alternative to traditional loans, where the collateral's value can be changed or rehypothecated. Mallers warns that there are dangers for the consumer, though. He likens debt to fire. It can be used constructively, such as to heat a house or start a business. But when it is used carelessly, it can ruin everything. Therefore, even though his organization's Bitcoin-backed loans pose little risk to the corporation, they might give clients a lot of leverage. Because of this, the business takes care to warn borrowers about the dangers, emphasizing that even though there are many prospects, consumers should approach Bitcoin loans sensibly. Additionally, Mallers has a strong belief in individual accountability, especially with regard to money management. According to him, Bitcoin gives people the ability to take charge of their financial destiny. It's about taking responsibility for your own life and choices. You are not overweight, impoverished, or struggling because of who is in office or your situation. Bitcoin gives you the freedom to make your own decisions. You can use centralized services if you'd like, but Bitcoin allows you to function autonomously if you choose. One of the things Mallers emphasizes is his belief in Bitcoin's ability to restore personal responsibility in society. In his view, a healthy society is one where people are empowered to make their own choices, build their own wealth, and secure their own futures. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications if you thought his viewpoint was helpful so you don't miss any updates. We'd love to know what you think about the future of cryptocurrency markets, so please share your ideas in the comments section. We appreciate your time and hope to see you in the next video.